But they're going to keep trying to modify. And they're going to keep getting those systems bricked. They're going to keep trying to find a way around those bricks because right now you can't even put the firmware back on because you got to connect to Nintendo servers for it. And Nintendo servers could tell you were fucking with the system. And so they just bricked it and they're not going to let you install. So that's why I do say I think this is good for the general consumer. Nintendo Switch 2s will be hacked one day. It's going to happen. Maybe it happens within a year. Maybe it happens within 6 months. I think it's going to be 2 years or more.
Motor Heart, RGT85 and Dreamcast Guy are catching so much flack for going against their principles and actually buying a Switch 2, when all they had to do was not buy it and continue to talk trash about it. Listen, I know the full-time game just as well as the three of you do. You purchased the thing because you guys wanted it, not because you meant it. But if you want to see a video on that, then do me a favor and get this channel to 90k subs. Hit subscribe right now. If we get 300 subs this video, I will make that video on those three gentlemen. Or guys and gals, as Mutahar would say. So, yesterday's video was soaring like crazy and I don't know why. I put about as much effort into it as the developers of Concord put into their game. That's just how little I care about the Switch 2. Even when I got to play one, I opened up to you guys and I told you my thoughts, and you know what you guys did? Instead of being like, oh wow, Frit, that was very insightful. Thanks for letting us know. You know what you guys did? Instead you post dumb shit like this. Who takes his landscaper with them on a shopping trip? Frick didn't go to Walmart with his friend to get a Switch 2. He was getting mowing equipment. You guys think you're so funny, but you're not. Okay. Tell you what though, just be on your best behavior today because it's the Summer Game Fest and I'm going to be streaming it at 2 p.m. Pacific time. Be there today. We better have over 1,000 people watching, or when I show myself on camera finally at 100k, I will not present myself with a bottle of Modelo and I won't feed into your Mexican stereotypes. So you better be there. It was no less than a few days ago where we were discussing how Nintendo fanboys were celebrating because we got fake leaks of someone claiming that Nintendo had already bricked their system when attempting to insert a MIG Switch cart, and recent videos show that no, your Switch will not brick, but those games on that MIG Switch will not boot. I was skeptical of this story myself because the leaker was saying apparently that it was all based on the voltage and that's how Nintendo detects it, and I said no, that would be an engineering nightmare. Nonetheless, Nintendo fanboys ate it up and they were celebrating, saying, yes, this is good. People cannot hack the Switch 2. That means Nintendo gets all the money and nobody can emulate their games. Nintendo wins, therefore I win. Such people being so gleeful about this thing were folks like, Nintendo Prime. Well, as it turns out, I'm afraid
I've got some bad news. Bad news.
first userland ROP chain exploit on the Switch 2. Oh no!
You can just hop online and download just about any
emulator or game
for free.
Yeah, but that's totally illegal.
Is it? I don't know.
See?
It hasn't even been 24 hours. How is it happening already? Now this post does come to us from the most soy-induced website on the planet, Blue Sky, but it still looks pretty legit. Since of course I'm not an expert hacker myself, I had to look up what any of this means, which is not what most people do these days. Most people just assume they know what they're talking about, but I won't pretend to do that to you. Userland ROP, return-oriented programming, is a sophisticated computer security exploit technique that occurs in the user space of an operating system. It essentially exploits vulnerabilities in the user space. So while this is not technically a full-on hacking, it is the first outer shell being penetrated into already, and we're talking in less than 24 hours of release. This is why I told all those Nintendo fanboys to shut their mouths and stop celebrating too early. You were going to end up looking like a fool. I just didn't think you were going to end up looking like a fool in a matter of 24 hours. I mean, to be fair, No one could predict that, but actually I'm wrong because this exploit was found in 4 hours. 4 hours of release of the Switch 2. We are already on step 1 of this thing being hacked, which is absolutely insane to me because I really thought security measures would be quadrupled here since the Switch 1. Never underestimate a group of programmers with too much free time on their hands. We live in a day and age where you really can't make unhackable hardware. Now, I obviously don't want to reveal too much about the person doing this because I want them to progress and I don't want Nintendo to interfere whatsoever. For your information, this exploit does not allow you to hack the console at the moment, but simply to send code that has no connection with the system. Display, text, the video you've seen, etc. But that's the first step. Now we need a kernel exploit good enough to break the trust zone.
Boomhauer, I didn't understand a word you just said.
Yeah, you know when I speak Spanish and you guys go, for it, I don't speak taco. Well, when hackers talk like this, I go, I don't speak virgin. When they say things like kernel, I go, Colonel Mustard from Clue? Yeah, I'm illiterate when it comes to hacking terms. All I've been able to gather here with my THC-ridden brain is that this is just the beginning. But I've never seen what the beginning looks like with my own 2 eyes. And what it looks like is a corner of the screen is doing this thingy, which, you know, to a hacker means something, but to me, it looks like someone dropped their Switch 2. What it is simply an exploit that will eventually lead to full-on hacking, and eventually, hopefully, emulation. But with footage like this circulating the internet, I'm pretty sure Nintendo is already trying to crack down on it. And well, with knowing how pissed off Nintendo was about the Switch 1 hacks, I'm actually kind of afraid this guy may end up, you know, on the missing persons list. As long as these guys keep their Switch 1 offline and never updating it, they can continue to play around with this. There's a lot of Switch 1s available on the market right now. I mean, you could go to your Walmart and probably get one. They're in full stock at mine. So if there was ever a time to experiment, it is now. If you're into this type of stuff, if you have any experience in programming whatsoever. The best part about this news, though, of course, is the Nintendo fanboys already trying to snitch him out. They were laughing just a few days ago, and now they are on high alert. It is apocalypse for them. They don't want PC gamers to once again undermine the Switch's existence by being able to emulate all their games at a higher fidelity at no extra cost. And they are in full panic mode right now. And now that Switch 2 is a brick. Good job! Oh my god, I love waking up to this type of salt. They are so pissed off. Oh, don't worry, with how many Switch 2s have not been sold out, there's plenty in stock for people to keep experimenting. This dude is like the rest of us, okay? We have no idea how any of this works, but I'll tell you one thing that separates us is I don't have confidence that Nintendo made an unhackable console, but these Nintendo guys do. That's what's so funny. So much faith behind Nintendo. How dare you? How dare you try and hack the system to avoid handing Nintendo money for basic features like game chat? You should be paying them money. They're innovating. Nobody's done game chat before like this. Pay for your built-in microphone to be used. That's just insane to me. I'm never gonna get over the fact that after the 10 months of free use are over, Nintendo's gonna brick the microphone in your console until you pay them so you can use it for voice chat. This is why hackers are a godsend. To undermine such clear and blatant anti-consumer business moves like that is why I root for hackers. Well, I mean, you know, hackers can also fuck you over sometimes in your multiplayer lobbies, but the hackers who are here to make life better for the owners of their own devices, I love those guys. If it wasn't for hackers, we wouldn't have emulators, fan projects, entire ass video game genres, custom software, and OSs. It's hilarious to me that only Nintendo fanboys see this as a negative because it directly affects the company they love. The detachment from what's good for themselves must be studied in a lab it's probably the first indicator to how natural selection works because, these guys are the type to jump off a bridge if it meant the greater good for Nintendo. How hilarious is it though that Nintendo fanboys are so tech illiterate they literally believed Nintendo programmed the Switch 2 to detect certain voltages and brick itself because it knows specifically what voltage means it's being hacked. They are idiots. I'm no engineer, but even I know that would be a catastrophe if they ever made such a device, which was why I was pretty confident it wasn't the case. But these guys, oh my god, the soy face they put on when they thought the Switch 2 was unhackable, and now looking at their faces, oh my god. How can you not get a kick out of it? How can you not enjoy that? How can you not enjoy seeing Nintendo get fucked and not on Pornhub? But most importantly, if you are a Switch owner, how do you not see this as a benefit for yourself? Just because you bought the device doesn't mean you have to submit to Nintendo going forward. People do know that, right? You can buy Switch 2s and not use it as Nintendo wants you to use it. Well, soon enough you'll be able to do that. It's a truly fascinating piece of hardware that I think would benefit if it was more open sourced, and that's exactly why hackers are your friends. But instead, Nintendo guys are out here reporting, tagging the FBI, tagging Nintendo of America, and for me it's just impossible to imagine such a group of gamers actually exist. Anyways, don't forget, 2 p.m. Pacific time, tune in. I'm gonna be live in a few hours. We're gonna watch Summer Game Fest and hopefully we can stay awake for the whole thing. Hopefully it's not another State of Play or Nintendo Direct. Then again, if it's got anything to do with Jeff Keighley, my expectations are low. Like, comment, share, and subscribe on the road to 100K. With that being said, I'll see you, well, in a few hours.
Fritongo sucks ass.